Hello everyone. People are still joining, so we're giving it another minute or two before we start. Hello everyone. Thank you all for joining us today for our webinar on integrating Coupa with SAP S/4HANA. My name is Martin, and in today's session, we're going to discuss that nowadays many organizations are undergoing either SAP transformations, like moving from ECC to S/4HANA, or they are considering to implement Coupa as a platform, and what is the role that integration plays in these projects. We're planning to share with you some key considerations and best practices that organizations should pay attention to. But before we do this, let's take a look at what is on the agenda for today. In the beginning, we would like to give a short intro about what Rojo does as a company, what is our position within the SAP integration domain. Then we would like to set the context of why do we think integration matters in today's world. We're going also to discuss what does it mean to have SAP S/4HANA and Coupa integrated. And afterwards, we're gonna make a deep dive into what is the Rojo's pre-built integration solution for doing this integration in an efficient manner. And at the end, we're also going to show you a short demo of how this integration looks in SAP Cloud integration before we conclude with a customer success story. We're going to end the webinar with a Q&A session. But in the meantime, if you have any questions or comments, please use the Q&A section or the chat to post these. Alongside me, Martin, today, we also have my colleague Ambuch. Ambuch is an experienced integration consultant and has been working closely with both Coupa and SAP on developing our solution, as well as he's been in the lead for numerous of our successfully completed projects for end-to-end connectivity between S4 and Coupa. Moving on, some of you maybe already know Rojo, but I would like to say a couple of words about what we do as a company. It's important to highlight that Rojo is an OEM partner of SAP. What this means is that we are the company that develops the standard SAP BTP adapters to connect to other third-party apps. We have been in close collaboration with SAP in the past years, but last year we expanded the collaboration, and we currently have 50 more adapters to release in the coming years. On the right-hand side of the slide, you can see some of our existing SAP adapters. Of course, the focus for today is Coupa, but we also have adapters for other applications like Salesforce, Snowflake, AWS, ServiceNow, and many more. Besides our relationship with SAP, of course, we're also a key partner of Coupa, and we have worked alongside Coupa to develop the solution that we're going to present later on today. Another example of Rojo's position and expertise within the SAP integration domain is that our colleagues are actually the authors of the official SAP integration books. This is spanning from the predecessor of SAP Cloud Integration, PO and PI, and they're also authoring now the official SAP Cloud Integration books. So far, so good. Now that we've set the stage and explained a bit about what Rojo does in the domain of integration, I would like to also try to answer the question why integration matters in today's world. We are all well aware that nowadays businesses are handling more applications, more data, and there is an increasing demand for real-time connectivity. So what this means is that we are all living in a world of more. We live in a world where businesses rely on more applications than ever, and they're operating in a very complex digital environment. We see some data here on the slide. On average, organizations are managing over 1,000 applications, and each of these applications is generating and consuming critical business data. This data is also growing by 25% on average every year, and all this makes integration more difficult. At the same time, the expectations of both business and end users have changed over the years. Consumers and business now expect real-time connectivity instead of batch updates or manual workarounds, and companies are also shifting to more complex multi-cloud environments, which means that their data and processes are spread across multiple platforms. And while all this is happening, integration is still often perceived and treated as an afterthought, which leads to inefficiencies and, more importantly, leads to some unnecessary costs. So what we think is that organizations which want to be future-proof and ultimately succeed in the future need to embrace integration solutions which are fast, scalable, and are actually future-proof. So far, we've discussed a bit about why integration matters in today's world, but we also wanted to give you a quick overview of how integration has evolved over the years. Traditionally, integrations relied on batch delivery, on file-based transfers, and on direct point-to-point connections. And while these approaches might seem familiar, they're also difficult to maintain at system scale. They can create inefficiencies and inconsistencies across the landscape. Essentially, they represent a tightly coupled set of dependencies, which can result in costly and risky changes. However, modern integration best practices and approach is a bit different. So instead of batch-based processing, we move to real-time data transfer. Instead of handling flat file exchanges, we leverage API-based communication. And instead of building point-to-point connections, we use middleware to simplify and scale across the enterprise. And once again, to summarize, companies that embrace these type of best practices are better positioned to adapt and innovate in today's ever more interconnected world. So the main question for today is, what does all this mean in particular for Coupa and SAP S/4HANA integration? At a high level, you could describe integrating Coupa with S/4HANA as making sure that there is an automated flow of data between your procurement system and your ERP. This connection is needed in order to keep both master and transactional data in sync without manual work or delays. And instead of handling procurement and financial processes in separate silos, this integration allows Coupa and SAP to work together. So think about purchase order, invoices, payments, all happening seamlessly in real time and being exchanged between the two systems. All in all, this ensures that you have data accuracy, it reduces errors and improves your efficiency across the finance and procurement teams. So far, we've talked about what the integration means on a high level, but how can you actually do this integration between Coupa and S/4HANA? For most SAP customers, a logical approach would be to go through SAP Cloud Integration. SAP Cloud Integration is a component of Integration Suite, part of SAP BTP, and many organizations that have SAP S4 or overall SAP customers would already have SAP CI in their tech stack. So it would make sense to use what's already available rather than building something from scratch or going with a different technology. This approach also, more importantly, follows SAP best practices for integration, which is decoupled integration, real-time, and API-driven. So instead of relying on point-to-point connections, this is the recommended approach by SAP. However, the important consideration that you need to keep in mind is that even if you follow this best practice approach, this integration comes with its own set of challenges and considerations. That's why we wanted to highlight some of these so organizations can pay attention to those things when they are considering this type of integration. So one of these things is the overall time and effort. So how long is it going to take to get this running? Second, you also need to pay attention to whether you have the necessary knowledge and skills in your team in order to perform this integration. You need to have the right expertise. You need to consider how you keep this integration stable and scalable in the long term. You need to make sure that the data is consistent, that the procurement and finance systems always remain in sync. And you also need to consider what is the time to value and what is the total cost of ownership for this. Can this be deployed quickly or is it going to drag out? And what is overall the total investment, not just now to build the integration, but also in the long term when you need to maintain it. And in the next couple of slides, what we're going to try to do is actually illustrate how we have worked, how Rojo as a company has worked together alongside Coupa and SAP to try and solve these challenges and offer a solution that enables customers to kickstart this integration and connect the two systems in an efficient manner. So essentially, the solution that Rojo is offering, this is a pre-built integration package. This pre-built integration solution consists of two main components. One of the components is an adapter, Coupa Adapter for SAP Cloud integration, which runs directly on your SAP Cloud integration. This adapter, you can think about it as the technical bridge, which establishes the connectivity between Coupa and any other third-party app, in this case S4HANA. It enables secure and scalable connectivity and essentially eliminates the need for you to think about how to connect Coupa to S4HANA because it comes out of the box and it is accessible for all SAP Cloud integration customers via their already existing SAP license. The second component that we have in our pre-built integration solution is the Coupa integration content. The Coupa integration content also runs on top of your SAP Cloud integration. It is again software which is directly installed, but you can think about it as a set of pre-built integration templates which covers the most widely used business processes which run between Coupa and S4HANA. As of Q1 2025, our standard integration package covers 22 scenarios between Coupa and S4HANA, but we continuously expand this package. And also it is important to highlight that while it does come as a pre-built solution, there is some customization and enablement that needs to happen in order to make sure that it runs end-to-end for your specific S4HANA and Coupa setup. So think about both master and transactional data like suppliers, cost centers, purchase order, invoices, payments. Our integration content makes sure that it provides you with a pre-built flow, which helps you to run those processes end-to-end between the two systems. As part of our offering, besides the software that we just discussed, we also offer a full enablement package which covers not only the installation of the software, but also the end-to-end enablement in order to make sure that this integration runs between Coupa and S4HANA. So previously we looked at a couple of challenges and considerations that companies usually need to take into account when they undergo such a project. So to summarize, what you can achieve with this pre-built integration package is first, speed. This can be deployed in weeks instead of months. Second, it comes with a lower total cost of ownership because there is no need for custom expensive maintenance and custom development. It is also developed according to proven best practices from both SAP and Coupa. So it has been built to those standards already, which ensures long-term compatibility. It supports the different upgrades and system changes that are going to happen. And most importantly, it reduces your overall IT dependencies. So your teams don't need to build everything from scratch. I hope this helped to clarify what the integration solution consists of and how you can actually implement it. But how you can get the solution is another topic that we would like to address. So first, on the adapter side of things, you can visit the SAP Business Accelerator Hub. Just type in api.sap.com Coupa Adapter. It will be the first result, and you can download the adapter and documentation for free. As mentioned previously, this is coming as part of your SAP Cloud Integration license, and you can kickstart this connectivity right away. The second component, which is the Coupa integration content, this Coupa integration content is available directly from Rojo. In order to get more information on integration content, you can visit the Coupa app marketplace, type in Coupa Accelerator and submit the form. This would enable the Coupa colleagues to connect you to us so we can provide you more information. Alternatively, you could also reach out to us directly for more information. So this summarized how you can get both the adapter from the Business Accelerator Hub and how you can get the Coupa integration content from the Coupa app marketplace or through Rojo, and a quick summary of what we discussed so far. So in order for you to have an efficient integration project, you can get a pre-built solution. Our solution covers the whole procure-to-pay process end-to-end, combining both master and transactional data integration between S/4HANA and Coupa. It follows the standard best practices in all three systems: S/4HANA, Coupa, and cloud integration. There is no customization which is needed in SAP or Coupa in order to run these integrations. And nothing changes on, for example, the S/4HANA side for you. You only need to do some enablement of some standard settings in order to prepare your system for the integration content to run. It provides real-time integration, and most importantly, you don't have to start from scratch. You can get this pre-built solution, kickstart this integration, and essentially execute your project for integrating S/4HANA and Coupa in a matter of weeks instead of months, doing some custom development. This covers the first part of the presentation, and I'd like to pass over to my colleague Ambuch. Ambuch will give you a bit more technical information on the adapter and also show you a short interactive demo before we move on to the success story.
Yeah, thank you, Martin. Thank you, Martin. So Coupa Adapter, it provides a capability to connect with Coupa system on SAP Cloud Integration Platform, and it takes care of authentication, OData authentication, and you can perform any kind of REST operation which is applicable for Coupa APIs. It also takes care of some advanced feature on Coupa API like pagination or handling any custom objects, and it works with both JSON and XML payload formats. So with the Coupa adapter, you do not have to think about authentication and forming the syntaxes for the query. Adapters take care of these things in the backend. Now I would like to showcase how easy it is to download this adapter, where you can find it, and little bit about integration content as well. Share my screen. I think it is already explained by Martin. How can you get this adapter from the marketplace? But you can go to help.sap.com and search for Coupa receiver adapter, and you can find all the details, how to download the adapter, how to use it, all how to configure this adapter in your cloud integration tenant. Alternatively, if you already have SAP integration suite activated on BTP platform, you can simply go to the Discover section, and if you search for Coupa, you should be able to find the Coupa adapter. and you can download it from here and use it. And it is already included in the license. And along with the adapter, you can also get this integration content from us. And Martin already explained how to get this content from us or via Coupa. And what this content does, it comes with a best practices across all three platforms, whether it's SAP S/4HANA or Coupa or integration best practices. And each of these iFlows are equipped with exception handling and uh, proper logging mechanism, which you can activate, deactivate based on your requirements. So once you get this package, you can simply import it in your cloud integration tenant. And along with this integration content, you will get a guide from us. And in that guide, you will have the explanation about each integration flow, how to configure them. You can simply click on configure and configure your S/4HANA and Coupa related details, your Coupa system details. And there will be few more parameters which you can configure in order to enable, disable logging or some other functional feature of that particular integration content, which will be explained in details in the integration content guide. And just by configuring these details, you can already run these integration end to end, and you can connect both your S/4HANA and Coupa system together. I think that's what I want to share. I will pass it over to Martin.
Thanks, Ambuj. Thanks for the quick overview and further explanation. I will now reshare my screen, just a second. And we will continue with the success story that we wanted to share with the group. So to illustrate what we already discussed in a lot of detail, not only on the technical side of things and what the solution consists of, but also what does this mean in practice for a customer. We would like to share with you a short success story of an electric car manufacturer, which had this requirement when implementing Coupa to integrate it with their S/4HANA system. So essentially, there were a couple of challenges that the company had to solve. One of their requirements was that they needed to achieve seamless data transfer with automated processes. They wanted to reduce the integration effort and reduce the integration timelines. And of course, the goal of every business, realize cost savings in order to achieve faster time to value. Because of the complexity of the integrations and the tight project deadlines that they had to adhere to, building something themselves was not a viable option. Therefore, they decided to use our standard Coupa adapter and standard Coupa integration content. We already discussed that both the adapter and the integration content run out of the box, but you can consider the integration content as, let's say, 80% out of the box functionality, because it does require some help from Rojo in order to be set up and enabled in order to run end-to-end. After the company implemented our pre-built integration solution, they were able to speed up the technical and functional integration and ensure that everything is running smoothly. One of the important metrics was that they managed to achieve this only within 4 weeks. So within 4 weeks, Coupa was fully integrated into the S4 systems. And now there was already an existing seamless integration with their SAP instance. This resulted in overall some business benefits like optimized end-to-end spend management and optimized processes. Employees no longer had to bounce between different systems, use manual time-consuming methods to complete key operational tasks. And there was real-time visibility across the two systems, which ultimately gave them control over their full procure-to-pay process. Of course, the Coupa integration content is not, and the Coupa adapter, they're not limited to a particular industry. This success story is from the automobile industry, but we have numerous successful implementations in other industries. So you do not need to consider that this is something which is intended specifically for this. It is a cross-industry solution, so to say. This covers the main part of the webinar for today. As we discussed already, you are able to get the adapter from the SAP Business Accelerator Hub. In order to get more information on the Coupa integration content, you can visit the Coupa App Marketplace. If you would like to connect with us and see an end-to-end demo or get the full list of integration scenarios that we cover between Coupa and S4HANA, you can also reach us at either hello@rojoconsultancy.com or use the QR code to set up some time for you to speak to our colleagues. And overall, we would be happy to provide any further information. Of course, in these 30 minutes, we are not able to give the full information about the solution, but we hope we have been able to give you a glimpse of what Rojo does in the integration domain, what is how this solution was developed, what was the idea behind it in order to solve an existing challenge on the market, and once again to highlight that this could be extremely beneficial if a company is considering a move from ECC to S4HANA or implementing Coupa for the first time. If you are still running ECC, this is maybe something that we should mention as well. If you're still running ECC, then you are also able to use our integration solution for this. However, this comes with some additional considerations that we would be happy to discuss with you separately. And if you have any questions, feel free to use the Q&A section or the chat. I think I saw someone asked if we will share the presentation. Yes, we will send a follow-up to the attendees. Please let us know that you would like access to the deck, and we can make sure that you receive the deck so you have all this information. Let's take a look if there are any questions coming in. One of the questions that we get very often is what is the difference between adapter and integration content. I think we provided some information on this, but essentially both are software solutions running on top of your cloud integration, but the adapter is more the technical bridge, and the integration content is this pre-built set of integration flows that covers the business processes. Okay, I see another comment that you would like to have the slides as well. Okay, this is noted. We can deliver them. Okay, I see no further questions coming in. So with this, I will conclude the session now. Thank you all for attending. It was a pleasure hosting you. Be on the lookout for other webinars coming in from Rojo. We also do a lot of other activities related to SAP integration, and we would be happy to provide any information or assistance that you may need alongside your integration journey. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.